Where is there a bell? Hello, Facebook. How is everybody? I was just saying to our friends on Instagram here that apparently there's a little bell that I can ring on Facebook and to alert people. But I don't really see an icon for a bell. I see a little star. What does that do if I press the star? Oh, don't know. Have I done the wrong thing? I think I might have probably turned myself into a cat filter or something. Did you see that thing on Zoom? It kind of went a bit viral, didn't it? Am I still live? Am I still all right? I haven't turned into a cat or anything weird, have I? Hi, Victoria. Tell me, is it okay? Am I the right way round? Haven't got pointy cat ears? Is it all good? It's good, is it? I'm getting some thumbs up. Yeah, there was this video that I think I saw on my Twitter of these 4 guys, older gentlemen, and they were in court and there was a judge and there was a guy in the corner, and obviously his kids had been playing with the Zoom settings, and when he went on screen he was like a cat, like a talking cat. And it was just classic. It was one of those things that just goes viral. And he was sitting there saying, "Yes, it's me, Judge. I'm not a cat. I'm happy to carry on because I don't know how to take the filter off." Can you imagine? Really funny. Honestly, the funniest things like that just happen, don't they? Spontaneously. You can't make them up. You can't engineer them. Good. I am not a cat. Excellent. So I'm going to be joined today. I was just saying, everybody watching on watching on Facebook and YouTube. I was just saying to our friends on Instagram here that it's just been a crazy week, really, talking about vitamin supplements. You may have seen that I was on this morning, on Monday, live here from my kitchen with Holly and Phil, talking about the vitamin supplements that are useful, some that are not so useful, and why. And that was obviously only a tiny segment. I think I'm only on air for about 7 or 8 minutes. And so as a result, I did a little post on my Instagram and I said, "Oh, if you've got any questions, just ask me in my stories." Not realising that I'd be sat there for like the next 4 hours answering all these questions. So I'm going to do 2 things. One is I'm going to record at some point a little section of my kitchen where I keep all my vitamins and go through them and talk about what I take and why. So I have got all your questions, the ones that I didn't get round to answering. I'm going to try and do as many as I can. But also, I'm going to invite today a really lovely lady back onto my little broadcast here, Emma Ellice-Flint, who I have podcasted with in the past. She is a nutritional menopause specialist, actually, because she often helps midlife women and older women with their nutritional needs. And she's written a great book on healthy, happy hormones, and she's a really, really good qualified nutritionist and has lots to say about all sorts of things. And she also works very closely with Dr. Louise Newson at Newson Health. So she actually has a little shop online that sells all the Newson Health supplements. Louise Newson doesn't sell them directly. She's a doctor, so she doesn't kind of get involved in commercial stuff. But the clinic has this really good range, which I think is excellent because it's kind of targeted for midlife women, so it's very focused. It's a small range and it's quite carefully curated, and I think that's really helpful because there's so much noise out there, isn't there? I mean, you go online or you walk into a shop and you're just like faced with all this stuff, and what is the right type, what is the right quality, what's the right version of all these things. There are, I don't know, a dozen different types of magnesium, for example. Which are the right ones? So, we do need some expert guidance here. And although I've written a lot about vitamins, I'm obviously not a nutritionist or a dietitian, but I have interviewed hundreds in my time and written up a lot of research, a lot of clinical papers, etc., that I have reviewed. So I'm really happy to chat some more and obviously share my own personal experiences on all this. So let's see whether we can get Emma joining us. Yeah, it's baffling, isn't it? My goodness, where do we start? Here we go. Emma Ellice-Flint sending a request. I have kicked the kids off the Wi-Fi. Everything is closed down. Hopefully. Oh my goodness, I have an admirer on Facebook saying he wants to marry me. Lovely. Okay, well, you have to send in your CV and I'll consider it. Actually, I'm not going there again, I tell you. I don't believe in third time lucky. I think that's me done. But that's another story. How are you, Emma?
I'm really well, actually. Thanks, Liz.
You look really well.
I was just listening to you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I feel it. I think I haven't walked so much in my whole life. You know, I'm always going outside to walk because what else can we do?
I
And
know.
it's just like...
Which is good, actually, and that's a really good point, because I find sometimes I get so stuck into everything that I do. I work so much online and at my computer that actually, you know, days can go by when I don't go outside. I really force myself, and particularly with the kids, I said, like, come on, you know, we are going out on it's a pretty grey, gloomy day down here in the West Country. Whereabouts are you talking to us from?
Oh, normally I'm in Warwickshire, near the Newton Health Clinic.
Right.
But just during this lockdown, I'm looking after a house for someone else. And so that's actually in Somerset.
Oh, you're not too far from me. Do you know, my farm, I border different counties, so I can probably wave to Somerset in that direction over there. So, well, nice to have you in this part of the world. And we first connected actually through Louise. I remember talking to her when I was doing a podcast with her a couple of years ago, and she said, oh, I've met this amazing nutritionist, and she's so helpful for, you know, midlife women, and she's going to be doing consultations at the clinic, and, you know, you really should talk to her. I thought, oh, okay, fine, you know. And, you know, because I get, you know, so many people I get recommended to. Anyway, I checked you out, and I thought, whoa, this woman knows her stuff, you know, this is the real deal. So we podcasted, must be 2 years ago, maybe?
Yes, it was towards the end of 2019. Absolutely. I mean, gosh, you know,
So talk us through your story. Apologies, everybody on Facebook and YouTube. You can't actually see Emma, but hopefully you'll be able to hear everything she says. And after all, you know, content is king. That's what we care about, really, more than what we look like, isn't it? Or should be.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Liz, I used to be a chef. I used to work in food, cooking it, and loved it. Really inspiring. It's fabulous. But I think, like a lot of women, I began to have my own sort of health issues, tried to sort them out through food, found an amazing benefit from that, really starting to eat more healthily. And it was just, actually, for me, it was transformational. And I kind of thought, well, I can't stand in front of these hot stoves bossing people around. Well, I can boss people around for the rest of my life, but I can't stand in front of these hot stoves all the rest of my life. And so I thought, no, what's my passion? So I decided to go and study full-time, face-to-face, a nutrition degree. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life. And that was 10 years ago. And I was living at the time in Sydney, Australia. And I began my nutrition clinic there. The interaction with other women in this kind of health area was just phenomenal. It was fantastic. But I actually heard about this movement going on in the UK, and I was born in the UK. About 2 years ago, a girlfriend of mine saw Louise in clinic, Dr. Louise Newton, and messaged me and said, oh my gosh, this woman is incredible. You've got to understand what she's trying to do over there. I was coming over on holiday anyway. I met her and I thought she was phenomenal. Wanted to join in this movement, this drive. I mean, I know it's global, but there is this really strong passion here in the UK for it. I really wanted to be with it. Do
you know, it's so funny. I actually messaged Louise this morning. I don't know if any of you were listening to Woman's Hour this morning. And I just caught a little bit of it. And they were talking about the deregulation of the contraceptive pill and for women being able to do smear tests at home, and how they thought that was potentially a really good idea. So anyway, I couldn't resist it. I actually tweeted Woman's Hour and at BBC Woman's Hour and said, you know, this is really interesting, and presumably if they make the contraceptive pill something that women could go and just get from their chemists, the same will happen for HRT, because there are fewer complications and fewer health risks. You know, I think people forget that the contraceptive pill is a high dose of a synthetic hormone that, you know, is really working against your body. It's stopping you getting pregnant. Whereas HRT, modern kind, is, you know, modern, bioidentical, natural hormones, just replacing what was in the body. So, you know, far less risky and far safer. Anyway, so I kind of got my big girl pants on. I got quite brave, so I just posted on Twitter. And blow me, I was still listening. I was up in the bathroom, I was still listening to the radio. And about 2 minutes later, Emma read it out on Woman's Hour, and she didn't say Liz Earle. She said, oh, we've had a tweet from Liz making this point. I thought, yes, that's so great. So, you know, to your point about there is this movement, I think there is, when you meet with like-minded women particularly, it seems to be women unfortunately, who are really moving this forward and see the need for effective, reliable, trusted, safe information. So it's great that you are part of this movement. So talk to us about the Newson Health range, because you can sell this, can't you, on your website?
Yes, I can, and so because Louise was very involved actually in choosing it for the Newson Health Clinic, and she wants to have proper quality therapeutic supplements that have some effect in your body. She didn't want rubbish. Are you going to tell? We all know Louise and how passionate she is, and so she chose a few key supplements that, and she knows the company, the manufacturers are in the UK.
Yeah, it's really good.
Everything fitted really well with her whole ethos. Yeah. And I think it actually came about because she used to see sort of almost junk that women used to walk into the clinic room with, and she thought, oh gosh, I've got to do something about it.
So she doesn't go down that route. She's not selling, sort of menopause supplements and herbs and things and all of that. This is very specific. Couple of things that I really want to talk to you about here specifically. There's been a lot of chat about magnesium, and magnesium is one of the supplements that I take now religiously. This is the one that I take. It's called Magnesium Plus. When I got it, I remember you warning me that it's like a horse tablet. It's quite big.
Yes.
I break it in half. But I have one in the morning and one in the evening. The dose, it says on the side, 1 to 2 tablets with food. Well, I actually take it after I've eaten. I don't think you need to be too prescriptive about that, do you?
No, because you'll still be digesting your food. Yeah. If it's a little bit afterwards. If you literally have an empty stomach, then it's not so good.
Total empty stomach, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is it's got B vitamins in it as well, and a little bit of vitamin C. But it's got 3 different kinds of magnesium. So we've got magnesium malate, citrate and ascorbate. Now, why does that matter? Talk us through the different types of magnesium.
Okay, well, so the thing is, first of all, we wanted to choose magnesium that was well tolerated in the gut, because some magnesiums actually can cause, like, loose bowels. I call it loose bowels for technical, diarrhea.
Yeah.
And some women are very sensitive to this, and so that was quite important. So that we chose ones that were the best tolerated in the gut. Then we wanted to choose magnesium that was reasonably well absorbed, and so each of those 3 are. And then we wanted to choose different carriers, so we could just cover all bases, I guess, be able to, in the gut, how we digest food, how we absorb food, how we absorb nutrients, is all kind of worked through lots of massive different little processes, and we wanted to just cover as much as we could in that these absorption channels.
A lot of the supplements that I see just have magnesium citrate. That seems to be quite a common one. So are you thinking that this is going to be more effective because it's got subtly different forms that may work in the gut in subtly different ways? Is that the kind of the bottom line, really?
That's right. Just about the best possible chance of absorbing what you need.
Not saying that the others don't work. It's just that if you want something perhaps a little bit more effective, and a bit gentler on the tummy.
Right. That's right. And we also popped, the bees.
Go on.
No, carry on. No, I'm just saying, we popped the B's and C's in because they work so well also along with magnesium. You see, nutrients don't work in isolation in the body, so, you've got to have all those different ones.
You have all that around your supporting infrastructure, if you like, that helps the absorption. So they're not there necessarily to top up your B vitamins, although they do, but their primary function here is to support the magnesium.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, really good ones here, including B12, which is really, really important. The other one that I also use, and I do vary these. I mean, I have to say, I'm not... I've had a request from somebody on Facebook. Don't really understand that. Anyway, I should leave that. This one is the berry C complex. And we were talking about berries, actually, here not that long ago, about the Hascat berry, which was fascinating. This has got really, literally delicious berries in it. It's got pomegranate extract. Oh my goodness, I'm loving pomegranate. I'm just going to show you very quickly what I have in my fridge. I've been trying different things. At the moment, I've been looking into pomegranate extract. I've got a pom and a pomegranate.
Yes.
Absolutely
yes.
brilliant. My goodness. I mean, you'll know all about this as a chef and a nutritionist. Yeah. Lots and lots of benefits on pomegranate juice.
Massive benefits, actually, on pomegranates generally. They're fabulous.
So you've put that in here.
We decided to not literally have vitamin C because, that vitamin C is great, fabulous, lots of studies on vitamin C, but we were quite into trying to make things as synergistic as possible, which is hence why we've got a few cofactors in the magnesium supplement. And we wanted to get in where vitamin C was found naturally as well, and in really high quantities naturally, and so that in the gut, the polyphenols that are in these berries, or pomegranate, to be called pomegranate or berry, there's other little things going on, some that we don't even know about, where it just helps with the whole absorption and usage in the body of vitamin C. So we wanted to cover it. Yeah.
Well, this has got pomegranate, plum and blueberry. Really interesting.
Yeah.
But the main key here is the magnesium. So this is magnesium ascorbate. That's a different form, again with your potassium ascorbate. And you can have 2 capsules daily of that. I mean, sometimes what I do is I might take one of these in the morning and then one of these in the evening.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I know I'm getting loads of magnesium and all these other little extra bits to support. And I have to say, I do sleep really well. Is that the key thing that you're using magnesium for, sleep and anxiety?
Well, this is the thing. So yes, we are. Magnesium anxiety, some people do use it for that muscle relaxation and contraction as well. It varies what people, look, we're all individuals, and this is what I find so fantastic, but also you can't exactly say how it's going to affect one person over another. Yeah. But yes, sleep is so hugely important to our overall well-being. You know, if sleep is not, you know, think of our well-being as like a chair, and it's got 4 legs. You might have heard this analogy before, and you've got food, and you've got sleep quality, and then you've got the mental health side. You know, you've got your association with human beings, and if one of the legs of the chair is kind of missing, then the rest it wobbles. It doesn't work, and sleep is one of those legs of the chair. Yeah. And so what we can do to enhance our sleep through all different means, including through nutrition and nutrients.
I've seen a big difference, important. And actually my ex, who doesn't sleep well at all, he totally raids. I mean, the tide goes down on this, because, you know, if he doesn't have this, he doesn't sleep as well. So he takes it, you know, every night. Just to say, a lot of questions asking where we can get these. So Emma, you've got your website, haven't you?
Yes,
what's your website?
It's simply called Emma's Nutrition.
Emma's Nutrition. So, cool.
Emma's Nutrition, and it's got a little shop on it, you know, which basically sells the Nutrition Health supplements. Yeah. emmasnutrition.com. I mean, I have this huge big name which I'm married into, and you know, it's a bit of a mouthful. Emma Ellice-Flint. So you could try Googling that, but I think Emma's Nutrition.
Emma's Nutrition. It's great, and thank you. You've given us a Liz Loves, so you've got your code, all in capitals, for 10% off everything, all the Nutrition Health, and there's some really interesting supplements. The other one, there are 2 in particular that I just want to very quickly touch on. One is fish oils, and again, when I was on this morning, the key ingredients for me in terms of my nutritional, you know, daily, I've got to have one of these. Yeah. This is vitamin D in fish oil, the DHA in particular, really so helpful, you know, not only for brain health and for, you know, our immune system, but for gut health, just for everything. So I give my kids fish oils. I take a fish oil every day.
Yes,
the studies for brain function is massive, isn't it?
I think it's almost covering all bases. I eat seafood sometimes, but not all the time. I'm very fussy where it comes from. I don't want any heavy metals in my seafood if I can help it. I'm even so I do it. I take one a day. That's it, tick the box. And it does affect people differently. It seems to help with hormone balance as well. Once again, it's very individual, but it really seems to, which is just fabulous. Great for a woman.
It's just job done. You know, if you're somebody who is eating 3 lots of oily fish a week, great. But I don't. My kids certainly don't. And that's a really interesting point there about the heavy metals in the fish. You know, things like tuna is, you know, can be quite high.
Tuna and the big fishes especially, absolutely. Swordfish, tuna, those bigger ones tend to be higher in the methylmercury. So I just think, and this has been tested for heavy metal contamination, checked. I always check that it's sustainably sourced. Very important. It's lovely, and it's also one of these capsules is done deal. You've done your daily intake.
That's the thing. It's just so easy.
High strength.
It doesn't replace good quality food at all.
No.
But I think there are certain things, and one of the things I talked about on this morning was the fact that our intensive agriculture has changed so much. And the soil has changed, and just what things are grown in. Our crops are only as nutritious as the soil that they're grown in, because they're taking the nutrients up from the soil, and if it's all been leached out with intensive agriculture. Anyway, before we go, let's talk about this one.
Oh, yes.
This has become
quite special. Yeah.
my new best friend. Yeah. This is called Serenity. Are we feeling calm?
Yes, very much. That was what it was designed for.
That's what it does. So this is B vitamins. So really important. B vitamins, again, big tick in the box, really important. Nervous system, all of that. This has got B1, B2, B3, B5, B6 and B12. And then it's also got a couple of really interesting things in here. L-theanine. And a bit of magnesium again. Magnesium ascorbate.
Yeah.
I take 2 a day. I take 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening.
Absolutely. And some people take just 2 in the evening. But if you have 1 in the morning, it's still going to have a beneficial effect. Not going to affect 2 in the
Do you think I should take 2 in the evening instead then?
No. It's find your individual point which suits you. I actually split it up as well. I like to split these up a bit. I take them with food because I think you absorb more when you're not taking them too big a clump. But some people do find it's better. That's it. I think it's quite interesting. I mean, it's got the B5 in, and the B5 is fantastic. Really, what we're after here with this is to have more of an even and uninterrupted sleep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty special. Yeah.
Even and uninterrupted. Brilliant.
Yeah, even and uninterrupted. That's why we designed it. And having casein in that form, in the hydroslate, funny name, or how you pronounce it.
Yeah, hydrolyzed casein. What is that doing? I've never heard of that.
Okay, that simply is casein in a form which is much more readily absorbed, so faster. It simply means that it's faster absorbed.
And what's it doing for us, the casein?
Okay, well, it's just based on research that seems to show that when you eat casein, especially, it seems to lead to a more calm state. And that's what we thought, okay, all right, well, let's just pop it in. Yeah. And the research is scattered, and it's small, the research. It's not one of those huge, big research, but it's there. There's quite a lot of it, actually.
Yeah. Well, I certainly sleep better when I have this. So that's casein that you'd normally find in dairy products. That's right. Regular casein. And then the L-theanine. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the L-theanine, that's right. So the L-theanine you find in tea, for instance. Funnily enough, tea is a really interesting one. Tea has L-theanine in it, and it has caffeine. So tea both calms you down and stimulates you. Because the L-theanine is very calming, and then the caffeine is stimulating. And so actually that's why...
So does that mean it's quite neutral? I mean, I find I can't drink coffee really after lunch without going a bit jittery, but I can carry on drinking tea. I mean, I have tea at tea time. I have tea at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it doesn't affect my sleep. Is that because the theanine is balancing out the caffeine?
Yes, absolutely. That's right. And it's quite... So the L-theanine, once again, research on it, small studies, but they're good studies, showing that it's very calming to individuals. So it's about having a go and seeing if it makes a beneficial difference.
So during the day, in terms of heightened anxiety and stress, with your B vitamins, it's going to give you a little bit of serenity to kind of get you through the day.
Yeah,
and then obviously at night time, when you want that lovely, even, uninterrupted sleep, it's going to help encourage that.
That's right. So it won't put you to sleep in the day, but it will potentially, especially if you can know that your adrenals are pinging and you're just, we do have these moments. Yeah, the adrenals are pinging, we've got this stress, we're burning through our magnesium, our B vitamins, and you need to nourish the adrenals. Actually, that's why there's those cofactor vitamins in there. We want to nourish the adrenals and also help hopefully bring a little bit more of a calm state through.
That's a really good point, actually, that it's not just about providing the body with enough to prevent deficiency, which is what the recommended daily allowances are all about.
Yeah.
For normal living, I think we have to recognise we're not living in normal times. And we are under intense stress, you know, and you just have to listen to the news and, your blood pressure goes up. You know, and all those things that we've been living in for so long have, plus all the other factors that we may well be, coping with all sorts of personal issues as well, that actually are requirements for these nutrients. We are draining our reserves of B vitamins and magnesium. And so we are running on empty. A lot of us are running on empty. I mean, we may not have been in a good place to start with, but, with all that added stress, it's really seriously taking its toll. And sometimes it takes a few months, doesn't it, to actually manifest. I know looking at vitamin B12, for example, when people go vegan, for example, and don't have any B12, if they don't supplement, they may not actually see any difference for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you run out because your body stores it. And then when you've run out of that, you go, oh my goodness, what's happening? It can't be my diet because I changed that years ago. But actually, it takes that long sometimes. But then other things like magnesium, we use up much quicker, don't we?
We do. And look, magnesium can, it builds up in the body. And I often say to people, certainly say with the Magnesium Plus, how about in the summer months, say you have a break from Magnesium Plus and have a few months off, and let your body just find its own balance again, and then begin again taking it and just see that you notice that benefit. You don't need to take it 12 months of the year. That's absolutely fine, especially when it comes to a mineral. However, you're right, we do burn through these, and it varies with people how fast they go through them. The B vitamins generally are water soluble, so we do lose them faster. We brought out a few supplements really tailored more towards the vegan or the woman that certainly has low iron or low B12.
Yeah, you've got one actually. I've got it in the cupboard. Let me just show this. If it hasn't been stolen by one of my daughters. Where are we? Oh, here we go. This is really interesting. This is the vegan DHA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we talked about fish oils. So you've got the fish oils here. These are the ones, the real fish oils that I take. Yeah. But actually, if you are a vegan or totally plant-based and you're not having any kind of fish, don't think that you can get all your DHA from flaxseed because it doesn't convert properly. Isn't that right?
Liz, you're doing my work for me. Yeah.
Done my homework.
That's exactly right.
Whereas this is the docosahexaenoic acid, the DHA, from algae, is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's where we harvest it from. Yeah. It's pure, it's good algae. It's been checked once again for heavy metals because seaweed is notorious for having heavy metals in it. But we needed to cover people who were vegan. I mean, they need DHA as much as we do. Yeah. You're absolutely right. The conversion is really poor, actually, from ALA.
I'm really shocked, actually, by, mentioning no names. There are some brands out there that talk about, take this, flaxseed, because it's going to be great, it's a great plant-based source of your DHA, and they don't tell you that it doesn't convert in the body.
Yeah, not very well.
It does a tiny bit, but it's going to be very, very expensive to get the amount that you need to stay really well.
But interestingly enough, we also, like our fish oils, we put vitamin D in because it is so fundamental to our mental health as well as our immunity. But we put double the amount in because research seems to show that vegans are much lower in vitamin D than the rest of the population. I don't know why that is.
So they're not eating animal produce, which is full of vitamin D.
I'd like to think that's probably as simple as that. That's right. So it's quite funny. So we put double the amount in just to try and help.
Really interesting. Just a very quick aside. I don't know whether you saw it. I was on Twitter the other day, and there's another great doctor who I'm sure you've come across, Dr. Tina Pearce, who works a lot with women's health. And she had put up a post from this vitamin D forum looking at all these leading professors. I forget how many there were around the globe. I mean, like 50. I mean, it's unbelievable. All, from Stanford and Oxford and, really serious dudes. and dames as well. And it talked about how much vitamin D these people were taking. And they were all like minimum 4,000 international units. Some were taking 10, 20,000 a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all working in immunology and, epidemiology and all the sort of real critical cutting edge areas of public health at the moment. I thought that's so interesting. So I retweeted it actually, and I need to see if there's a website link, because I was so fascinated. Because this whole thing about dosage, how much should we take? How much do we need? How much do we process? Are we going to take too much? Is it going to be a problem? It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it?
It is right. And the NHS recommends that everybody takes vitamin D through the winter. And they say 10 micrograms, which is about 400 IUs. I actually wrote it down. I'm just checking. Got that right. And that's fantastic. But that's the minimum.
That's minimum to exist. That's the base. Oh my goodness. You have to stay on. I know we're going to lose you in a minute, but you have to stay on and just listen. And actually, today, there's a new podcast that's just gone live. You can listen to it on your podcast app or on the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel with Emma Ellice from Life Code GX.
Right.
And on that, I've actually shared my vitamin D analysis that I did for my genes, plus, with their permission, the analysis for Lily and Brella, my two daughters, showing how Brella, and she's talked about this here before, is blocking vitamin D. So she's on like 10,000 international units.
Right.
I'm blocking a bit, so I'm on about 6,000.
Yeah.
Lily is not transporting it so much, so she's on, I think she's probably on about 3,000.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
This is so fascinating. And I checked it, because I checked it when it went up on live at the YouTube this morning. I wanted to check that all the links and everything were working. And I just started watching it again because I was so fascinated to re-listen to what Emma was saying. Yeah. And it just reminded me, and obviously very timely for today with what we're talking about, and how people can assess what their vitamin D needs are. And honestly, the difference it's made to Brella. That high strength.
That's actually, I'm really interested in that. Very, very interested indeed. Okay, well, that's really good to know, isn't it? I mean, you can have the blood test, and the blood test is really good. Actually, looking at your serum vitamin D, yes, it's about that conversion. Yes,
exactly. If I had a blood test for vitamin D, so there are the 3 genes, and Emma explains this in the podcast, in the recording. There are the 3 genes that they test for. So I have absolutely perfect transportation of vitamin D. So it's whizzing around my body. If you took an armful of blood, you'd find loads of vitamin D. So a doctor would go, "Yep, you're absolutely fine." But the 2 genes responsible for converting it and processing it into what my body needs are blocked.
Right.
So yes, I've got lots of it, but my body is not using it properly. So therefore, I have to overload to compensate, to get more into my system, so that enough is used to bring me up to a basic level. And when it comes to Brella, she's completely blocked, which is why she takes so much more. But she saw a real difference. I mean, she was on my podcast here talking about it. I think it was 4 days of high strength vitamin D, and her anxiety went, her mood lifted. Yeah. And for young women particularly, I think it can be very stressful. I mean, I know you see in your clinic a lot of, all sorts of issues, mental health issues, and you have, eating disorders and compulsive behaviour and anxiety and, all of that. And I just wonder if everybody was able to have, and hopefully in the future this is something that GPs will do, just a really simple genetic screen to see how well you're processing vitamin D, because we know that it's making our dopamine, isn't it? It's making our serotonin.
Yes, exactly. I agree, Liz. I mean, that's a lovely utopia. I mean, I think it could happen. Why? Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Do really take a look. I'd love to send me a message and let me know what you think. Yeah, and there's a Liz Loves code as well, so if you want to, as payback for giving us all one, she's done us a deal too.
I use Life Code GX in my clinic.
Do you?
I do genetic testing with my clients who would like to know about this. It's lovely part of that jigsaw puzzle of knowing your health, and I think it's great. Yes, so I do use it quite a bit. I do like it. Liz, really quickly, I know you've got so much to get on with. This is a new one for us.
What is that?
This is where it's an iron complex.
Oh.
And I wanted to just introduce it just into the talk, because it's a pretty special one, because what we did was try to make something that was very well tolerated in the gut and really well absorbed. So we've actually got, once again, it's like the magnesium, we've just not got iron in there.
Yes.
We've got in a really tolerable, well absorbed form of iron, and we've also got cofactors. Okay, I love your cupboard.
Carry on talking. Yeah, I have a magic cupboard here. Yes, which gets everything that I get sent gets into kind of like a holding bay in my cupboard, and then I kind of try things as I can. But here we go. Yeah, it is as yet unopened. So what is in here? Because it says it's got live biotic cultures in it.
Well,
How very
this
interesting.
is the thing. We thought about, how is iron absorbed in the gut? What goes on? There are things that hamper iron absorption in the gut, and iron sometimes can even attach itself to other, like, I guess you call it sort of nutrients, and actually just simply go out in your stools. So we wanted to put in some probiotics that, in a sense, cleave away the iron from food,
interesting.
so that you can actually absorb it better. And then, of course, it's got our cofactors. We love our cofactors.
Yeah, so you've got vitamin C, which helps absorb iron.
Absolutely.
And vitamin B and B12.
And
the methyl
B12.
form of vitamin B12, which is top
The
mark. That's
activated form.
the best kind, methylated. Methylfolate, and then you've got 2 of the strains of beneficial bacteria, Lactobacillus plantarum and Lactobacillus lactis.
Yes, that's right.
That is
that's
interesting. I may well get Brella to take this, because she doesn't really eat meat.
That's what I thought.
I'm always worried about her getting enough iron.
Yeah. I think this would be good. You only need to take one a day.
Oh, really?
It's just great. Yeah, one a day with food, and you will get,
that's pretty
what
easy.
does it say? It's 14 milligrams, which is 100% of the nutritional reference value. Yes, it's an easy capsule. It's not big. It's not like the Magnesium Plus. It's not this massive.
Yeah, but I love that so much. I really feel the benefit.
I
So
know.
I forgive you being big. It's a good one. Emma, thank you so much. It's so lovely to chat. It really is. And we can find you on Instagram. I know that you often answer messages and things, don't you, on Instagram, if people have a specific query?
I do. I think it's, at the moment I am doing direct messaging. People they need those queries, those answers about supplements. It's just tricky to know. I know it's a minefield. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Lovely to have you with me. Take care of yourself. Enjoy
Pleasure.
Somerset.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Now, for some reason, I can't remove Emma. I had this problem before. Do you remember? So Emma has to remove herself. There you go. Yeah, wasn't that fascinating? So much. I mean, it is a minefield, and you can't actually see my cupboard here, but it is, seriously, if you thought I had a lot of supplements on my shelf, you should see the cupboard. It is just jammed. And I have to be obviously very discerning, what am I going to use, what am I going to try? And there are a few key things. And I genuinely, hand on heart, this is no word of a lie, and I'm not being paid to say this, but, the Serenity, which I think was really interesting, wasn't it, talking about how that works with the L-theanine, with the B vitamins, the 2 different forms of magnesium. Really interesting, that explanation about why the different formats of magnesium work so well. Brella, my lovely girl, is going to be getting this, and possibly the vegan DHA as well. And then, of course, I have my regular fish oils with vitamin D as well. Now, I did mention the nutrigenomics. Do please listen. And if you want to see the report, that is for me, I've shared my personal DNA with you guys, because I think it's so important to illustrate it for real. And Lily and Brella have very kindly done theirs as well for their vitamin D. It's live now on YouTube. It just went up this morning, so I'm really excited to see how that goes. Also really excited, look what the postman brought. Ta-da! A big box of new magazines. I showed you the cover on Monday, and this is the real thing. So exciting. So just arrived. So I get, obviously, a couple of boxes of preview copies, and that means that the mailing has started, basically. So I'd love to know. It's always like the first cuckoo of spring as when your magazine lands. So let me know, won't you? Let me know when you get yours and what you think. And it's all about a fresh new focus. You know, so that's the heading here, a fresh new focus, redefine, reconnect and rejuvenate. And I think that's a lot of what we need to be doing right now, isn't it? Lots in here, but just very quickly to show you the article with Emma. This is the one that was written by my lovely health and beauty writer, Ellie. And where are we? Oh, look, there's Emma. Emma Ellice-Flint, who we were just talking to, writing all about probiotics. That's a really interesting piece. There's a piece that I've written here. I tend to do an article each issue called Live Well for Longer. And this, I'm talking about nutrigenomics and how it works. And also looking here, this is my personal profile that I put up with Lily, because it was really very instrumental in part of her journey and part of her getting well from chronic pain and issues with the autoimmune disorder that she has. And then here, this talks in more detail about the genomics, nutrigenomics. This is Emma Bezic, so this is who I podcasted with. And it's really fascinating, honestly. I'm so excited for you to be reading this. And then it just tells you, we have got a special offer with her, because normally, as Emma Ellice-Flint was saying, it's really just for practitioners. So you have to be, you know, registered with a practitioner that you're seeing, and that's the private clinics, and it's quite expensive. So what we've done with Nutri Life Code GX, which is the company, is they've put together for us the nutrigenomic test, which is a little swab. You just do that inside your cheek with a little brush, send it off. They come back with the core report, which has all these things and more. It's so fascinating. I haven't even got time to tell you about it here, but I will do another time, because it is really amazing. And also a 30-minute one-to-one private consultation with one of their nutritional experts, that then when you get the results, you can go through it. And I've already had lots of people who've just started to do this, because I first mentioned this, I think, about 6 weeks ago, maybe, I can't remember, who are just beginning to get their reports back now, saying, oh my goodness, I didn't realise I didn't process vitamin C, or I needed glutathione, or my vitamin D was being blocked. And you will only know that through genetics. So, you know, unfortunately, it is expensive. Normally the tests are around £400. What we've managed to do here is get the test and the report and the consultation all in one package, which I think is normally something like $399. And if you put Liz Loves in as a discount, it comes up with, I think, £70 off. I think it works out about $330, something like that. But honestly, it's a seriously good investment, because your genes don't change. You can do this test when you're 6 years old. You can do it when you're 96. It's going to be the same. Yeah, really interesting. Anyway, do have a read up, and let me know what you think once you get your magazine. There is a subscription offer at the moment, so I've seen a couple of messages here from people saying that they need to subscribe. Yes, you do. There was a comment this morning I saw on my Instagram that one of the links wasn't working. It should be working now. Go to the homepage of lizearlewellbeing.com. There's a little box that says buy the magazine. If you click on that, it should be no problem. Really good time to subscribe right now, because there's a free £10 voucher to spend on anything you like at Studio 10. Yeah, that lovely. Didn't you love Grace? Wasn't she brilliant? Love my Monday makeover with Grace. Beautiful products, really good. All about plumping older skin. And yeah, really, that honestly, that the Plumping Glow Plexion, I think it was called, which I've got on today. Love it, absolutely love it. And there is a Liz Loves still on Studio 10, so you just, it's on their single item, so it's not the things that they've bundled together which are already discounted, because that wouldn't be fair. But it's the single items like the cheek blush or the mascaras or whatever. Then you can get, I think it's 20% off. I'll just check that with Liz Loves. There's so many discount codes. Oh my goodness, where are we? Studio 10. Yes, 20%. So there is a link. Obviously, you'll find the link in my bio on Instagram, or I know Lainey. Hi, Lainey, on Facebook. You're doing all the links for us. Right, a couple more notices before I go. We are running up to the end of the month. Can you believe it? About to step into March. Beginning of spring, new buds and all that. But that does mean that some of our discount codes are ending, because some of them, you know, just run for a certain number of weeks or months. The one that's coming up, which don't miss if you had wanted to grab the Mangrove Earrings from my lovely jewellery team, Lizelle Jewellery. I'm wearing them at the moment. I've got the yellow gold ones in here, my little filigree hearts, which I love so much. This is how they come in your lovely little box. Like this. Oops, that's the card. That's a little authenticity card that comes with each of them. Fair trade, 24 karat gold vermeil. Those are the rose gold. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see that up close. I know lots of you have got these already, but they are 30% off just until the end of the month. So you've got, I don't know how many more days. It's a short month, isn't it? What is it, like 3 or 4 more days? And then there's also in the rhodium, which is like the really, really bright, shiny silver colour. But yeah, just lovely. Anyhow, just I didn't want you to miss it. If you had forgotten that, thinking it was ongoing, because that does come to a full stop on the 1st of March. Something else that we have now just extended for another month is Leapfrog. So just very quickly, quick update. You know that I was coming down with a cold last week. Took my Leapfrog, thought, well, there you go, this will be a test, won't it? This is going to look really bad if I suddenly turn up all sniffly and snuffly, and said, oh, well, it didn't actually work for me. But no, it did really, really work. Lactoferrin, zinc and vitamin C. I've been having one of these a day, and my cold, 0. Just gone. I had an itchy, scratchy throat, sneezy, no more. And you can see I'm down to my last one. So I've took mine this morning, so I've got one left. I'm going to take that tomorrow, and then I'm just going to replenish. I think I feel fit as a flea, so I'm not going to have any more. But I am going to keep these in stock, because at the first sign of a sniffle or a cold, trust me, I'm going to be reaching for those. The other things that I've gone back onto, which I'd kind of forgotten about, and then we did that lovely live with Dr. Lucian in Holland, who we did like talking to very much. That was by Muno, and that was really fascinating, wasn't it? Talking about how to really feed our probiotics and the importance of that. So I have restocked my cupboard, which you may have seen on my shelfie. Had my cup of coffee this morning before I went live, and I had my little Bimuno in there, and I think Bimuno is lasting, does it say when that finishes? Because a lot of these, I mean, they are very generous discounts, so they don't last forever, unfortunately, because you can use that on single and triple packs. You can use that at the moment. It doesn't say when it ends, but it will have an end date, so do grab it before it ends. Yes, a couple of questions here about Mighty Brew. What was I drinking earlier? I couldn't resist it. I've got this in the fridge. This is your free bottle of winter chai. Love it. This is the kombucha from these guys. I don't know if you can see just that lovely sediment at the bottom. That's what you want to embrace and look for when you buy kombucha, because that means it's live, it's active, that's the real deal inside. I have to ration this actually with the family, because my youngest, who's 10, he absolutely loves this. You know, he would rather drink this than, you know, a glass of cola drink. It's amazing. It's really sort of warming, cinnamony, spicy. It's delicious. I love it too. If you have any order with Mighty Brew, any order, you get this free. So there you go. And it says here that until the 1st of March, you also get 10% off. Is that right? Wow. Okay, anyway, go and check them out. They're mightybrew.com. They're not far from me. They're I think they're the other side of the border over in Hampshire. And love them. Genuinely good guys producing delicious kombuchas. Really, really nicely done. I saw a couple of comments about the Hascat berry. Somebody was asking how much sugar. So in this packet, it's 52 grams of sugar per 100 grams. And you might think, oh, that's a lot. But that's per 100 grams. Okay, that's a lot of powder. You're just using a little teaspoon. So I don't know what that would be. 1 or 2 grams maybe per teaspoon. So really good. And yeah, I think this is another thing that's staying in my cupboard. It's moved from the sort of test cupboard to the permanent cupboard. It's made it onto the permanent shelf, as has microbes. I'm using this. I don't know if you can see because it's in the dark bottle, but that's nearly gone now. So I've been using that every day for, when did we do that live? Maybe a month, maybe? Really, really good. I love that, and I love the fact that it's just down the road and it's made from beneficial microbes from the soil on an organic farm. So right up my street, ticking lots of boxes. So much, honestly, more than we can cover here, but there is a whole section on the Earle Wellbeing website. Liz loves. If you look at supplements, if you look at any of these things, there's lots of free resources, there's recipes, there's stuff you can download. All the active discount codes are up there and they're all in alphabetical order. So if you want to find Life Code GX, for example, just scroll down to the L. If you want to find Leapfrog, that's where you'll find them. By Muno will obviously be right at the top because it's a B. And Emma Ellice-Flint, emmasnutrition.com, she will be up near the top as well. We do have our lovely notebooks. Yes, little set of 3 notebooks for writing everything down in. And these are currently free with any signed copy of any of my books on the website. We've sold out of Good Gut Guide. We are getting more back in, but we've got Good Menopause Guide. I think we've got Skin. We've got obviously Yearbook 2, which is my favourite. That's this one here, which I always have in my kitchen. Lots of lovely recipes and beauty ideas and more in there. So at the moment, these aren't for sale on the website. I've got a few technical issues, but they will come up for sale. They'll be £7.50 for a little bundle. But we thought we would just make them available with any book, which does get signed by me. So if you're thinking about Mother's Day, maybe, there you go. I send them out here from the farm. So that is it for today. Lovely to have you with me. Do go and check out that new video podcast that I've got on YouTube. It's actually worth watching. I know you may think, why am I watching a podcast? You can listen to it. Of course you can. But if you go to YouTube and watch the podcast, you will actually see the reports on the screen. And it just really brings it to life. And Emma explains it so well, Emma Bezic. It's really, really good to see. Lots more questions. I'm going to get back to as many as I can. I will record that vitamin thing as soon as I can, but I hope today it was helpful to have Emma Ellice-Flint in the house here, just explaining some of those things. It certainly made it a lot clearer for me, talking about different types of magnesium and B vitamins and why and how and all of that. And don't forget, she did say, didn't she, that she's very good on messaging. So if you've got specific nutritional queries, and you'd like to talk to a nutritionist, then that is a brilliant way to make contact. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of love. Have a great day. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wellbeing Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Thanks, Lorraine. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Nice to see you too. Thanks. Bye.